YouTube, top 16 of Meta Weekly every single week. We are ready for Cool Tune coming soon, the new top tier annoying deck. I'm going to have a video briefly explaining how annoying or how top tier that deck is right after the Meta Weekly is uploaded, so make sure you watch that if you want to know what's going on. But until then, we have heroes. Hero deck is here, and it is top tier in Omni, Reborn's Hand, 60 card deck. Now, when I think of heroes, I think of bricks and garnets galore. Oh my Jesus, are you ready? I guess if you have a garnet, it's better to play 60 cards because you're much less likely to open up that card, right? You need Dolphin in the deck to even special summon the Ejector. Otherwise, you got to normal summon this freaking card. This is an elemental hero. Now, but watch as long as you can. They greatly supports the events. Even if you have me on the background, they greatly supports this. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Ferris against just Imperm. Many people will say, what the heck do I Imperm? I'll tell you what I think you should be Imperming. You should Imperm the Vine, I'd say. Vine is a very good one. The first part of the effect is a hard once per turn. The second part of the effect is a once per turn, and you could just summon another Vine to then do that. So if you at least mess up the first one, you're good. If you have Ash Blossom, I would say Ash Blossoming the increase. If they're playing this, a lot of hero players are not playing this. That's also very good. Cut them off from summoning Vine from the deck. This negates. No dump from the deck. With the new masked heroes, you could dump them to also be setting a mass change in the deck. A good way to play under Duel and Lockbird. Now we have the Cross Crusade, which unfortunately going to very easily play through this because they had the random brick of Malicious in hand turning into a powerful 2-card combo with the Ferris. Ferris and Malicious, how do you stop it? You just hope they don't draw it. That's quite ridiculous for them to have both in the same hand, right? Specifically, both of them. So let's speed on through this turn one play. Blazeman searching for Polymerization. Infernal Devicer is going to be searching for an Elemental Hero, Neos, and a Dolphin. Now, with the Stratos and someone searching for the Neos. Wait, what? I said Neos and Dolphin. He added Hummingbird and Dolphin. What the? Does that mean? Oh, no. He's preparing for this card. Most hero players do not play this card, and you should all fear this card. You activate this effect when it's special summoned. Your opponent cannot activate cards for the rest of the turn. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards in response to this even activating. What the heck? How do you stop it? You stop them from setting it up, which they have already pretty much have all the pieces to set up already. And you, I guess you could stop the favorite contact itself. The new heroes here, banish an elemental hero from the graveyard, to any hero that is, then search for a furnace or search for the blue one. This will be searching for a mass change. Discard a card. Hand, banishment, engrave to use the favorite contact. We're using it right away. Neos, Dolphin, Dark Panther, and Hummingbird for boom. Your entire turn is now floodgated. If the Ash were a bell instead, we could have stopped this from happening. It's over. Activate in response, mate. Can't chain to this card. What do? Kali Yuka is here. This is essentially a first turn kill. You know, is this a good thing that it exists? I guess it's fun when you do it yourself. Otherwise, no. What the heck? Damn. But it's a hero, so I guess it's okay. Mal's going first, and because you're playing a 6-card deck filled with bricks and engine, you're very likely not going to have many hand traps in your opening hand. Thus, with the immense power of everyone's turn one uninterrupted play, even 1-card combo play, how are you going to reasonably be breaking fields? I know they do like to play Forbidden Droplet, but breaking a field with just engine, that's unheard of. You generally need some sort of non-engine Droplet, Darkler No More, evenly match, maybe even an Impermanence if you draw for the turn to negate something. There's no way you're going to be able to brute force a field. Now, if we read a card like Fusion Destiny, part of what could help this break a field is it says you could only activate one per turn. So that makes me think if part of their end board is an Omni Negate, which it is, they have the Ignister negate anything, you want them to negate this card. If they negate the activation, you then get to make use of a second copy. The problem with baiting a negate with Fusion Destiny is, what if they don't negate? Then the second one is no good, and then your hero lives is also no good. You have to control no hero to even activate this card. Now, this could also be scary to negate because if you negate it, you're stopping them from summoning a monster onto the field, which means a second and third copy would then be activatable. So there's a lot of guesswork here on what exactly we should safely negate. Maybe just wait for the monster itself. Now, even if you wait for the monster, which would be Stratos, if you negate the Stratos and then banish Stratos, again, you're enabling a second and third copy of Hero Lives. So how do we confidently allow them to commit to the field while also negating something? Let's speed this up. Oh, part of what's so toxic of drawing 3 to 4 cards with the Maliss combo is drawing into Maxi, drawing into Droll, drawing into Ash, drawing into Impulse, or even Impermanence or Call by the Grave. So what's crazy about this is Omni Reborn has 0 non-engine to break a board, and Animan has non-engine Ash, Impulse, Called by, and Impermanence. 4 non-engine disruption on top of their board of being able to banish from their grave, non-target banish, return a card back, negate anything with the Ignister, and we also have a non-target banish again with the Cryptor. Oh my oh, whoa, 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 we got the droplet off the top of the deck. Where did you come from? What the heck? That is nuts. Exactly what we needed. Holy moly. Now, did not negate the Hero Lives with the Ignister. All right? And we're waiting for an opportune moment to use Droplet. We're going to use Ferris to dump the Malicious. Activate to play an increase into the back row. Malicious activating Grave. Summon from the deck of Malicious. Bro is holding onto all of his disruption. It's crazy. Cross Crusader on Summon Reborn the Malicious. That's like, nah. We're going to return 2 cards back. Now, one of the cards we're going to chain Tribute off the summon the Increase from the back row. Dodge that. Now, a good question could be, can Increase be negated by the Ignister? Let's read that real quick. The opponent activates card effect, so yes, it would be able to. A Wave King Caesar cannot negate this being summoned from the back row. That's something you want to understand. Add back the Malicious. It's considered a continuous trap in the back row. Ash negate. What I say previously. Imperm, the Vian. Ash, the Increase. Animan must listen to me. Infernal Devicer is here. We're going to simply stop him from searching for an Elemental Hero Neos. And now we're dumping 3 cards to negate 3 cards. Call by the Grave is going to still banish away that Malicious. Oh, it didn't care that we were banishing Malicious. By sending a monster in a trap, I could not chain a trap or monster. Because you didn't send a Fusion Destiny, which may be the reason why we're potentially going to lose here, we were able to chain Called By to the Droplet, and now we could chain Code of Soul to the Called By, and if you send 3 cards with Droplet, you have to negate 3, or you negate 0. So if we could make our field 2 cards or less, the Droplet does nothing. Let's see. That's it. Droplet now negates nothing. No negate. No reduce. No negate. And all because we didn't send a spell to ensure that the Called By could not chain to the Droplet to then chain the Code of Soul to the Called By. Now, we dodged the Imperm negate onto searching for a Neos and a Dolphin. Fusion Destiny Impulse. Now, I talked about the Ignister negating this and then activating another copy. The problem is Impulse works like Ash. It negates the effects, not the activation. Thus, the second copy is no good. He had to cope that this card would be the one to negate. So Animan, even after making a great field, still perfectly using their disruptions because we have a good understanding of how the game works, how Droplet works, how activation negating works. Many other players had so many different opportunities of screwing this up after fully building up this field. Hero lives. He is not going to use the Ash, but we are going to hit him with the Droll. This is the anti-Droll play. If you summon a Strauss and search for Ejector, you're asking to get clapped up by Droll. So Omni Reborn, I could tell, really knows what he's doing. There we go. Because now Vian could dump a card from the deck that could still trigger. Or we could send a Malicious to do some other plays, or we could send the Mash Change Searcher setter. Even under Droll, we could set a Mash Change to the deck if we search for a Vian instead of the Ejector. Magnum Hub banishing the Malicious, unfortunately. What the hell? Anna freaking Conda. Nuts. By summoning Anaconda, you now can't use Cross Crusader, you can't use the Devicer. There's a lot of cards it turns off, but by making this an available play, that is the way. This is an interesting situation we're in. We have a Mash Change and a DPE. But the DPE also can't pop itself, and we don't want to pop the Droplet because we want to use the Droplet. So what is the play? You activate DPE, then you chain Mash Change. Mash Change turns DPE into a Dark Law, and then all their cards are now getting banished. Wait, we're playing against Maliss that wants to get banished. That may be a problem. But then you destroy the Mash Change. The Mash Change does not get sent to the graveyard until the chain is fully resolving. So even on Chainlink 2, the Chainlink 1 will then pop the face-up Mash Change once we get to Chainlink 1 to pop it. And that's a way to have Dark Law and keep the Droplet and pop the Mash Change to do all that with the DPE. So non-target pop and Dark Law. We are gonna Gold Sark, banish our White Rabbit. White Rabbit triggering to summon itself onto the field here. On summon, set a trap for the deck. We have TB11 to chain banish the White Rabbit to summon for the deck. MTP, banish away the White Rabbit to grab a Dormouse. This is where I think Animan was suspecting that he would have went into Dark Law. But if you randomly banish Dormouse, it then comes back because it wants to get banished. So we're in this really weird spot. We are, so in response to the normal summon, since it's not a trigger effect, not a quick effect, we're going to non-target pop right here, right now. And we're going to chain the Mash Change, the exact play I described. Chain 1 DPE, chain 2 Mash Change. Gate popping. All right, take it out. And with that taken out, everything is getting banished and coming back. Omni Reborn, are you good? We do have Droplet for Dormouse. How effective will that be? We already banished Chessie. We already banished White Rabbit. We could banish the Hare. And we're negating that. I don't think so. Now Lingariba pinning down a potential impermanence. Good idea here. Good play from Animan. Negate. We have yet to trigger the Dark Law effect of when they add from the deck to the hand. We're going into a Little Knight. What the heck? Now, Dark Law does not counter Maliss, but it countered Maliss. How did it counter Maliss? The correct play to go here would be to go into a Splash Mage. Splash Mage must reborn a monster from the grave, but the monster is getting banished because of Dark Law. So it actually countered Maliss. What the heck? Now, we do have Ash for the Stratos, and we drew into Elemental Neos. We do have Malicious, though. Summon from the deck. Oh, we are making plays with just Malicious and Denier. This is thanks to the Anaconda. Anaconda giving that great follow-up play. Banish away with Little Knights. Let's add the Malicious back on top of the deck. We want to get the Malicious in graveyard. Even if we get negated, we could link this off. Cross Crusader could search for whatever card we wanted to search for with the Stratos. Anaconda giving us DPE. We had the Mash Change play. We then have the follow-up from Anaconda with Denier and Malicious to play through the Little Knight and the Ash. I cannot believe it. Heroes is actually defeating Maliss. Let's freaking go. Flame on. Barris, discard the Elemental Heroes. Activate to play an increase in the back row. Tribute off the fair summon from the back row. Increase summon for the deck. Vine dump from the deck. The Shadow Mist to search our deck for the Dusk Crow. Vine further banishing the Fairs to grab from our deck a Polymerization. Let's activate the Dusk Crow. Banish from engraved to special summon. Activate to search our deck for a Furnace. Polymerize it up with the Furnace and on field into the Contrast Hero Chaos. Trigger the Furnace engraved to reborn into over 9,000 damage. You are the real Jaden. Damn. Also Mad Love, we do have Maxi. This is a turn 2 deck. They want to go second. It's all about reflecting battle damage onto the opposing monster. What is this? We have negate in hand, non-target wipe the field, pop a card in the field, pop a card in the field again, or banish in the hand. We could also potentially take control of a monster, banish with Little Knight. We could also very likely pop a card in the field with the regular Caesar. And I think we also have a rank 5 Xyz play. Up to 8 forms of disruption we have to board break. Can Karma do it? Let's find out. Dance is attempting to special summon a Mikanko from the hand or grave. We're going to non-target, pop that equip. No summon for you. Set Rivalry because we don't want him to look at our hand. In response to the activation of the card, it's now time to take a gander at as we chain the quick play spell to them trying to now rip away our Hugh Lee. We chain special summoning. So used your effect for nothing. You got hard baited. Very well done. Making sure to summon the Hugh Lee in the correct column. Woo-wee! What the heck? Hugh Lee was untargetable, indestructible by battle and card effect, but we non-target took control of it. What the heck? And is that it? We do have the ceremony, which will still be activated. We do have the water return a monster back. Ooh, that messes things up. The water is equipped onto the Holly Sue. So in response to the effect to return back the Holly Sue, then summon from the deck, we're going to banish the Holly Sue. So on resolution of the continuous card, which is the equip card, it's no longer going to be on the field because the monster is no longer on the field. There you go. Got him. Non-target take control. Little Knight Chain banished to the equip card. We did have a pretty good outplay to the Werewolf where we had no cards in hand in order to banish, but it obviously was not enough. Let's try again. The deck with powerful turn 2 plays, in fact, is wanting to go first. Now, going first, we are up against a Holly Sue, which has the ability to... We don't have a dark in our hand. So, oh, we do. Azuna's a dark. Wait, I'm thinking there's 2 Azunas. The art looks too freaking similar. Konami, what the heck is that? So we do have the Holly Sue, which could take control of a monster. We could also choose to Raisin Pop. We could even Caesar Pop. We have the Nibiru, and then we have Azuna. It's like, this is a pretty freaking good hand if I've ever seen one. What the heck, Gara? This is what happens when you game on the Xbox, apparently. This should counter Vanquish Soul. How does this counter Vanquish Soul? As long as you control the monster equipped with this card, your opponent cannot use the effect of a spell, trap, or monster effect that targets a monster. Well, if we look at the Vanquish Soul cards, what do they do to come out? The Borger says, target your Vanquish Soul. You can't target your own cards if I have a metal silver armor. Uh-oh. As long as you control, target, yep. Completely untargetable, indestructible, and you can't target your own cards. What the heck do we do? What's the out? Non-target take, right? I mean, Holly Sue does not target when we take control. Nash Knight does not target when we suck them up. We're going to use the Rivalry onto the Uzuhime. What are we equipping here? What the heck is that? Tragic Twin Twined Jewels. I am not familiar with this. These look like little Mitsurugi jewels. What the heck? Equip only to a monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck. That means this has to be incredible. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck with attack greater than the equipped monster, that's another crazy restriction. You could target one of them summoned from the extra deck, destroy the targeted monster, destroy the equipped monster, and if you destroyed at least one of them, you take damage equal to their combined original attack, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. Oh, okay. A pop and deal some damage, like a barrel behind the door kind of situation here. Holly Sue's the issue. That non-target take, and we're doing it right now. take control of one monster with the lowest attack. Yeah, no, only onto a monster that you control. We don't control the monster. Any non-target sucked. Everything I said, non-target take, non-target suck, against our completely untargetable fields. Damn. The perfect deck to counter you, Karma. I'm so sorry. I think pretty much every other deck would have lost, right? If we had this set up against Yummy, what would Yummy even be able to do? Wow. Wow. You know, Draco Tail also can non-target pop back row, and Malulu can non-target negate a monster. I don't think that's... yeah, negating the Healy would be pretty good. Well, 2-0 victory. Good try, Karma. I appreciate you. Fu lost in the standby phase. Not that effective against Radiant Typhoon. We love the special summon from the hand. We will very likely just perform a single Link 2. They get one draw for Fu loss, and we still special summon a ton and set up a great field. Now, none of this even matters because of this card. RP Feather Storm. If you control a Wind-Wing Beast monster, skip your opponent's entire next turn. Any and all monster effects they activate on the field, hand, grave, it does not matter. It will be negated. And of course, it's only the opponent's cards. We could still summon. We could still attack. If we can't use a monster effect and we can't gain access to the field spell, then spam special summoning monsters is not going to be effective. What the? Crystron? Yummy? Has this ever been conceived before? I am not familiar with this. Now, we have no knowledge of the Harpy Feather Storm, obviously. It's going to be a surprise. When are we going to surprise him? Let's now summon the Cresea. Cresea will turn it on. Otherwise, it was not even activatable. Now that it is activatable because we can control a Wind-Wing Beast monster, now Abdullah is probably just going to surrender, right? I would think that's the correct thing to do as they're negating Ash and negating the entire turn. This is unstoppable. Let's just speed this up. There's nothing else to say. Everything's negated. Okay. Yeah, I guess we could attack still over their Tiny Link 2. MST Tristaros is negated. We're going to return 3 cards back. Draw 1. Don't mind if I do. Another Harpy Feather Storm. How awesome is that? Magala is going to summon for the deck of Phonics. Mandate reset itself. Phonics after Quick Play spell. You can activate the Quick Play spell in the draw phase. We then could play around the Snatchy. Snatchy is only activatable during the main phase or battle phase. Yep. Good one. Nice. Cup C, grab the Marshmallow. Let's Full Loss it up. Ash negate. And if you say, I need my Natura Beast to compete with the top tier, you shouldn't be wanting Natura Beast for that. You should be wanting Konami to further ban and restrict the top tier to take away you feeling that it being necessary to have Natura Beast to decrease the gap between your deck and their top tier. Now, what actually resolved through all this? We are under max freaking C. Oh my Jesus. Bait us with the Full Loss, hit us with the C. Now, what do we have here? This is still a really good setup. Really effective, efficient deck here as we have the ability to flip 2 cards face down, return 2 cards back. We could pop a monster and pop any card in the field. 4 forms of Disrupt. You what, mate? In the main phase 0 plays we have here, Typhoon, draw 2, discard away the Vortex, which will reborn from Engrave. As we're now going to MST the surprise, we lose one of our forms of Disruption. We're not able to return 2 cards back now. Surprise out the Lollipop, which could return a card from the opponent's graveyard back into the deck. Woo! Got him! Damn! Non-turn player hired Chain Link, the perfect card to summon to return you back on your attempt to reborn it from the grave. Holy outplay. That was good. Well done. Now, I guess you could argue if Plu is like, I don't want to activate this because we have Lollipo, then Lollipo could go, okay, I'm not going to activate Lollipo, and then we could Synchro, then Reborn Lollipo later in response to a card effect like an MST, and then the same thing would happen. Because we delayed our effect, the Lollipo later in the turn would still be able to return it back to the deck or even banish it. So I say outplay, it's not that we outsmarted, we just did a very good play. Eldem, free special summon since we have the MST in graveyard, so that's another consideration to return their MST back in the deck to take away their free special summoning. This is a good way to get Cookie in the graveyard, so in response to anything activating, we're going to Reborn the Cookie as part of the disruptions I was talking about to get popping. We're going to do that right now. Oh no, Call of the Grave, fingering the Snatchy, which is what we need the surprise for. Surprise chain Reborn the Snatchy in response to the called by. This absolutely decimates us. Our ability to flip 2 cards face down, gone. Our ability to play the field spell to then pop a card in the field, gone. And our final disrupt, this is it. Pop a monster is happening. Now, the cups he could randomly draw into a hand trap. The final cope is the draw into a what the heck is that? Yeah. All right, Plu, have your way with him. I'll speed this up for you. Swen searching for the Ascendants. We're going to have to be building up our board in main phase 2, it looks like. As we make the Link 2 Radiant Typhoon, grab our 3rd copy of MST, wipe away the field spell to trigger her effect to play the trap. With the continuous trap, we're going to return from the grave back of the deck, draw 1 to modify do. Noble Knight Shield Bearer searching for an Eldem. Triple MST set pass. Now, what do we have effectively here? This is not that great, is it? I mean, actually, because we have this, it actually is pretty good. We have 2 MST negates, we have a Droll and Lockbird, we do have the Ascendants, which will be able to Reborn the Curseia, which will go into another form of disruption, or disrupts. Maxi could Chainlink block the Radiant Typhoon mandate negate. One of the negates could be prevented. Go forward, Snatchy. You know this thing over here? You should click it sometimes. I'm not saying Abdullah made a mistake, but I'm talking to all of you. You click it, and you see a lingering effect is still being applied here. Yummy Snatchy is still fingered. Uh-oh. And we can't play the field spell. That's okay. Marshmallow, grab back the Yummy Surprise. We are going to attempt to return back. We can't even chain Synchro with Snatchy because it's negated. We're just trying to return back. Now, this does Chainlink block the mandate from negating. It at least is doing something. We're going to chain Ascendants to Reborn from the graveyard. We're going to chain Max C instead of using it to negate one of the other MSTs. And because of using Max C to draw 1 instead of preventing a negate, we would have been able to use the mandate to negate something if we cared to do so. Why didn't we... Okay, because, you know, we're MSTing it anyway. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah. All right, sure. Now, the Crusade is not going to be a form of disruption because we don't have a card to trigger what we're searching for. How are we going to be able to summon the Vortex to be able to negate a monster effect since we used up all of our quick plays? Now, if a quick play spell is activated from either player, it will then be summonable. But we already used our Yummy Surprise. So from the opponent, they're not going to be helping us summon this Omni Negate. We still have the Droll and Lockbird. No more adding from the deck here. So adding of the field spell is going to be gone, but let's still get a bunch of bodies in the field. Still, negated Snatchy, special summon from the hand Lollipo. Let's go into the other Lollipo that reborns from the graveyard. We don't have the field spell because we were never able to search it due to Snatchy getting fingered. Sprint. What? This is not a play commonly seen in our Yummy deck as we dump from the deck of Tristaros. Tristaros pops our Cupsy Synchro to summon 2 Cristrons from the deck. I've never seen that play. Yummy Crystron is a deck. We're doing this all under Droll. What the heck is going on? I gotta play this. What the... Under Droll? Did we just win? How? Fingered Snatchy and under Droll. That was crazy. Sprint did the whole play. Sprint sent Tristaros. Banish this card from the grave after being sent from the deck with Sprint. Destroy a Synchro, and if you do, you have to destroy the Synchro, then summon 2 Crystons in the deck, and then win. Under Droll. Insane. That was so damn good. I loved that. Alrighty. What is this? Well, double Harpy Feather Storm. Don't mind if I do. No matter how cool Abdullah is with his deck, I don't think anyone has a chance against this auto win card. Okay, let's just speed this up. We have a negate, return back, a negate, a negate. We don't care, mate, because it all comes down to the Floodgate. Floodgate's out the entire turn. All monster effects from the opponent only will be negated. Great. Activate. Negate. Just like that. All right. What can Abdullah do? Not, yeah, right. I mean, he can do that. That's the one correct play to do. Single elimination, final duel. Just surrender and you're out. I'm sorry that happened. Abdullah, I very much enjoyed your deck. I am inspired. Thank you. And again, hate the game, not the player. That's on Konami for Plu to abuse this. If this is viable and it's good, then I encourage you to use this. The more people use this, the more likely it will get restricted or banned. Main phase 0, searching for our MST. Trigger Crusea here. This will get impermed or ashed. Ash negate. Now, since we didn't imperm, the Pot of E is going to go through. Let's freaking do it. Pot of E, draw 2. We're going to be waiting for when the imperm will be a good time to be activated. As we grab from the deck the Eldum, special summon Eldum, imperm, negate. Just like that, mate. I think that pretty much is the best use of your impermanence. If you're not going to use it on Crusea, just negate one of their cards that they're trying to search. I don't think imperm on the Link 2 is good. Because what are you doing? You think you're denying the trap? You're not really. You're denying them searching for MST. They'll just play the trap on your turn anyway. Now, what we're going to do is we have the trap, which will be triggered from the MST to then negates with the MST. We have Droll. We have Sheena, which will bounce back the field. Crusea, which will then give us access to the monster negator. So 4 forms of disruption. Jesse, banish, draw 2, trigger the White Rabbit here. We got Radiant Typhoon in both players' hands here. What the heck? With the Droll, no more adding for you. Now the Droll's our own play. By Drolling, we now can't Crusea search for the monster negator. We do have Sheena to bounce away the entire field. Non-target bounce. Let's trigger to play. And cast. You triggered the Link 2. Now we get to hold on to the MST to have double negate, mate. We could chain link block the mandate negate with the hair. So whenever he's MST to get poppin', just chain the hair and you're good. So this would be that opportunity. Chain hair and then mandate cannot negate. We are going to get negated though. And the hair actually has nothing to banish. How is that the case? How do we have nothing to banish? Nothing, no Maliss in hand or in grave. Wasn't even an option. Now it is. If they want to negate something else, we could now chain hair. Link decoder, let's back up Ignister. On summon, we cannot go for the search since we're under Droll, obviously. We have Cryptor here with the non-target bounce. Now, Cryptor, why aren't you activating? There's 0 cards banished. I can't chain to the Sheena bouncing me back in the extra deck. Boom, off the field you go. You still have MST negate. Now, March Hero is needed to block the negate. Thus, Splash Mage will get negated unless the Druid Swarm Chainlink blocks the mandate. Do we have something banishable from either player's grave? We do. So Druid Swarm completely prevents this negate. Splash Mage, Chain Drew a Swarm. There we go. Perfect. There you go. Got him. Chain your quick plays. Chain to block. Block him up. And with that block, this should, I mean, we are under Droll, but Droll's not that great. Crisea can't search. Now, Crisea cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect if the opponent controls no back row cards, but Kess could very simply set. Now, even though we're under Droll, we could just add from the graveyard. That's still decently effective to have a good follow-up play. Let's speed this up. Banish away the MST, March Hare, and the Ascendants here. Trigger the March Hare to add herself back to our hand. We're now going to bind her set from the back row, GWC. Further link up the two into an access code talker. We're going to trigger the Druid Storm to send the Sheena to the graveyard, which would not be destroyed by battle once per turn. Boost 5,300. We have enough back row to non-target pop away the Crisea, which would be protected from destruction if we didn't have any back row cards. With the White Binder reborning back in the field, we didn't have to draw a card in order to reborn. 7,600. Not enough for game until we GWC for game. It becomes game if you didn't have GWC, if you were able to just Dormouse boost up your monsters for the rest of the turn. Holy Maliss. Draw 2, trigger Crisea here. This time, no Ash, no Imperm, no problem. We have quite the setup. Non-target bounce all the monsters, negate anything. We could return 2 cards in the field back in the deck. We could negate with the MST, not negate anything with the Vortex, that is, it's negate a monster. We can negate again with the MST. About 5 forms of disruption, solid 5. Negate, spin, negate, and bounce back. We're gonna chain the Ascendants and MST to the Ascendants so we could use Varun to the MST to negate, but since they have the chant to change to the MST, it blocks the mandate from negating. Now, how does MST work against an opponent's mandate? If you activate MST, they could chain mandate to your MST to just negate your MST or negate some other card in the field. You don't want to do that. You only want to use MST in response to mandate negating something, already activating. So you gotta wait. Now we're gonna chain link block with the chant. We're gonna chain the mandate to return 3 cards in the graveyard back in the deck to draw 1. Not chaining MST because that'd be a big mistake. Well done. Hold it. No activate. So 2 of our 5 disruptions ended up being nothing. We couldn't even negate because mandate continually got chain link blocked by the opposing Radiant Typhoon cards. And it's crazy that we've had this many cards of interaction with each other and not a single Maliss card has been activated, not even a Cyberse card. It's Radiant Typhoon versus Radiant Typhoon. Now we're... okay, negate your MST. Now, this makes sense though. We need MST in the graveyard to special summon the other ones, okay? All right, so this is not, you fool, it's... We're establishing something important here. What the? Transcode Talker? Ain't no way. This says you could target a Link 3 or you could not special summon the turn you activate this except Cyberse monsters. This has no effect. It cannot reborn because we summoned non-Cyberse. But still transcode. Going into the access code. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is not rest of the turn. You can't Lava Golem then go into this, which is what someone tried many years ago. We are going to be Eldum, Search, and Swen. Yeah, he went first game 1, and Maliss was able to break through. By this, instead of being a hand trap, we got to wait for the whole turn. And now if you're wondering beyond me verbally showing you why you play the Radiant Typhoon, you get to now see Benny dump the Dormouse, and then you make plays from there. Exactly what I said. How are we going to play through 8? Now we draw Droll. MST in the draw phase, take out that impermanence. Follow up with the Vision Typhoon to draw 2. Ash, negate, chant, mate, as we're going to be further adding from the deck here. The Impulse cannot negate the Eldom special summoning. Since it's not an activation or special summon, it would be able to negate a Crisea. It would be able to negate the Vortex, Monster Negator, or the Phonics. We're going to negate and banish the Eldom, at least attempt to do so. Chain the Droplet to non-target negate 2 cards on the field, mate. Negate the Firewall Dragon before it could even activate. And now we have Crisea, which the Impulse will negate. This is sad. Non-engine. Non-engine, 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 non-engine. All the non-engine to beat him. We stopped the Ignister. We stopped the Firewall. But then he's got Ash. We had MST be eaten up by an Impermanence. Freaking Impulse. It's nuts. Now, Impulse is semi-limited in the OCG. So Konami does have their eye on this card for being a problem. We have no hand traps, obviously. Magatama possibly was a second or third prayers. If we lost 2 prayers, what did we add in? The Magatama, I think we would have had some sort of play with it. We could tribute our reptile. It doesn't even have to be a ritual reptile to then target a face-up card the opponent controls. So we would, our Amasa, let's say they'd want to imperm. We then chain, tribute, pop, still get our play. Oh boy. Ooh, that was a great top deck. We have 2 lines of plays, 2 great plays, plus the Called by and Cross to protect our plays. But what are we protecting it from? Little Knight's going to chain banish. They're going to fuse probably into a Chimera to then pop multiple cards. They're then going to go into a Dragoon to negate anything. Regina, in response to an Azamina or Sinful, will then pop 2 cards on the field. We have the Sinful Spoil, which will be able to fusion summon into a Disruption. About 5 disrupt. Yep. Let's see. Call by the Grave, fingering the Dragoon play. Now, we're going to chain Chimera of the Phantom Beast, special summon the Sword Knight, and if we have a Chimera in the field, which it looks like that's going to be the case, we're going to have even more disruption. Now we're going to have the ability to negate a monster effect activating on the field. So from 5 disruption to 4 disruption, now back up to 5 disruption. We do also have the Codal. If we choose to target one of the cards on the field, we're going to be able to negate it. Now, I'm not going to count that as one of the forms of disruption, but it's potentially, we'd say, up to 6 disruption, otherwise we have 5. Grab the mirror and the Habakiri here. Habakiri going for the Saji play. Saji for the Mitsurugi ritual. Deception Sinful, simply do the life point loss and gain. This does nothing. With our ritual, here's our real play. With our real play, we have Kusanagi and Aramasa. Kusanagi to add back the ritual, of course. And then we now know. So this, of course, going to get banished, so we don't want him to ritual summon with it to then reborn it back. We added Murakumo. And we summoned from the hand. So this is a problem because the Mitsurugi ritual cannot summon from the hand again. It has to summon from the deck. So we're going to have to use the mirror. The mirror is going to have to use to summon the Murakumo. We're going to tribute off the Murakumo to then summon it with the mirror to get the Fumo on the fields, the Futsu that is. And now we're going to lock ourselves into Reptile only. So this gives us the lingering effect. You have to note that it's 2 parts. It is, you cannot special summon nor activate monsters for the rest of the turn except Reptile. We have completely turned off Ryzeal from being playable. Sinful Spoil, Chain Pop. So do you understand my concern now? Instead of going right for a Murakumo, we set up for a Murakumo, and now the setup for Murakumo is gone. We can't summon Murakumo. So by adding Murakumo with only the ability to summon from the deck, we then had to set it up, then he wiped it out, And now, yeah, it's a GG, I guess. Normal node. Normal cope. Yep. Okay. MST. The Little Knight banishing the Habakiri was also quite beneficial. The ideal play is you still have Habakiri in the field, you then summon Murakumo from the deck, you then tribute off the Habakiri. If they were to, let's say, have an Omni negate on the field, a direct monster negate, you could then chain link block it with the Habakiri engrave while you get to wipe out their opposing fields. Let's hop into game 2. Now, dealing with a Max C and Impermanence. Let's go. You got 240 URCP, that's insane. Maxi right away. Now, we had called by. We had cross out in the previous duel. What the heck? Ritual into the Murakumo, and then very likely just pass. That's it. You get one draw, set the prayers. Very good that we have it already. The Saji could search for the trap or a Magatama. We got the trap. So even under a Maxi, we have wipe the field, make them discard, negate anything, Droll and Lockbird, Quadra Disruption. Not so bad. Typhoon, grab MST, which is quite annoying as he's going to randomly snipe away the prayers. Prayer's going to tribute off the Armasa. This can only fulfill a follow-up play. It's not going to give us any extra disruption here. And now, one of our 4 disruption is likely not a disruption. And that is the ability to wipe away the opposing fields. We cannot well time our board wipe because it's now tied to the purification negating something. And if we negate something good, it does not mean that they're going to then have a good field for us to wipe away. So I'd say we're now 3 to 4 disruption. The 4th disruption is a maybe. Diablo Star, Purification, Negate, and then we don't have a good board wipe. We don't have a chain link block for Ash even. Ash, negate Murakumo, that's a big problem. Activate. Negate. Now, there's a chance the Engraver's a brick. Maybe he doesn't play Lurie, maybe he doesn't play Fiendsmith. He does. And he does. But Droll. Droll stops the track from further adding. Fiendsmith counters Droll if they can make a Requiem. If they can't make Requiem, then Droll can counter them if the Engraver adds Tract. If we opened up the Tract, we would have been fully okay, perfectly fine through the Droll. Not the case, though. Let's go to game 3. We play one of this Garnet. Garnet must be in the deck for a combo, and that combo is just this one card. A very powerful card. Adding the Mirror, adding a Ritual, now completely useless. And not only is this useless, but our other 2 copies in the deck are also useless, which we may top deck into. Not good. But, I mean, this is okay. We have 1 bad card in our hand. Habakiri plus Mirror is okay. We'll be fine, I'm sure. Hit him with the Droll. So the big question is, can Chud Cho's deck play through a Droll? Well, any deck that could get 2 bodies out without a summon lock can play Fiendsmith to effectively play under the Droll. Ash negates. We have not normal summoned yet. We have our own Maxi, Eclipse, and the Impermanence. We're just going to pass, just like that. Book of Eclipse, flip the field face down. How effective will that be against Mitsurugi? Let's find out. Summon Saji, Saji trigger, searching for the Ritual. Since we're under Maxi, we just want to summon Murakumo, then pass. That's it. We don't want to do too much more. Kusanagi, add back the Ritual. Aramasa, add. The problem is, if we pass on this, we're passing on no real disruption. I don't think we could pass. We have to do more. In fact, we may try to go for an OTK. We may go all the way. This is it. We don't know about the Book of the Eclipse, flipping us down within the battle phase after we commit to a ton of special summons. Grab the prayers, reborn back out. This is lethal damage. If this were not to have been reborn through its own effect. Otherwise, you can't prayers reborn it because then we can't attack directly with it. For minimal lethal damage, you want to be in a position where you could have, let's say, a Kusanagi, of Murakumo on the field plus a Prayers. So you Kusanagi attack, Murakumo attack, Prayers tribute, don't reborn with Prayers, then it reborns itself back for perfect game. We don't have that. So we're gonna have to further commit with the mirror. Oh my goodness. This is still not lethal damage. Prayers, we are going. That Saji could not attack directly. It could trick your opponent into thinking you can attack directly. They may scoop. You just like push your field forward and they're like, oh, okay, you got me. But this is not 8,600. Ain't no way. We did get the mirror back in the deck. Now it's game. Holy crap. We are still going. Did not reveal the Book of Eclipse yet. Now, Judcho has to know there's a chance that I Don't Read could have an Ash Blossom to negate the Book of Eclipse. At the end of the main phase, he'll never get to know that he had Book. Ain't no way. Summon the Wuso, attack directly. 9 cards in hand now. Damn. Draw into the 10th. Purification, no good. Magatama, no. Wait, no, Purification's good. It doesn't require a ritual reptile. It's just a level 5 or higher. Thus, the Wuso works well with it. The second effect of the Purification cannot reborn back out Murakumo this turn. We have to wait till the next turn. Magatama is useless, though. And beyond the Purification, we are going to be done. We're done. So we're going to speed this up. If we could break 8,000 defense on the token, we win. And we do. Guardian Chimera, non-target pop you. We already know Wuso's in hand, otherwise by putting this on the highest chain link, it makes it Ash Blossable. We don't want the destruction and draw to be negated. MST, Magatama, Maxi got us. Max freaking C got us. Good job to both of you. Thank you very much. We didn't really see much Ryzeal in his Ryzeal Mitsurugi. Activate the effect of Radiant Typhoon, Manifestation, send from the deck the Vortex Monster Negate. Crusea is going to trigger special summon, search in her deck for MST and Swen. We're now going to follow up with the chant with the MST chain onto the chant. And with this end board, what did we accomplish? We can spin a card in the graveyard back in the deck. We can bounce 2 cards in the field back in the deck, spin them, I should say, as we have the Vortex negate a monster effect. We don't have an MST negate, which is quite insane, mate. So, you know, it's only 3 disruptions, not that crazy. We do have Maxi on top of that, though. Tabris, 69. I think this is doable. Is it not? The Neo sucks. The increase sucks. Droll's not going to be so good. You have Fusion Destiny and Call by the Grave. That's it. Let's go. Fusion Destiny right away. Maxi. Let's Call by the Grave. Negate. DPE is going to reduce the field of opposing monsters a little bit. The problem with DPE is the Doom Eagle is going to be able to return the DPE back in the extra deck whenever we pop it to try to activate to then summon it during the next turn. But we're not going to even wait for that. We're just going to use the Doom Eagle to return the Malicious back in the deck before it activates to summon from the deck another Malicious, as we simply use the Vortex to negate DPE. Negate and destroy. DPE triggered to then summon itself again during the next turn. The problem with that is this could very simply, in the draw phase, target DPE, return it back before it's summoned. So this just hard counters DPE. Let's now activate the chant to trigger the Phonics. Phonics will return back the Denier and the Increase. Into the deck you go. Magala's not a form of disruption, but it will be summoning a Crusea to give us a follow-up play. Damn. The Doom Eagle put in some work. I think so. Begin. A hero lives against Maxi. What do? Do not set Droplet in pass. That is what a wussy would do. We're going to summon our Stratos into the Shadow Mist. Furnace will be searching for Polymerization. we could have search for mass change, normal summon, miss, then pass. We have bigger plans. What are we doing? We're gonna search for Vian. Vian, send from the deck a Fountain. Fountain, set the mass change. Pretty much the same thing we did here. Okay. Banish, grab the polymerization. So this is still our play. This is the way. Now, there's something you should note about mass change and what is very popular on the ladder right now, Droplet. Also in our tournaments, of course. If we look at the Dark Law, is it a really good card to use Droplet on, or what? Any card sent to the opponent's graveyard is banished instead. Undropletable. You can't droplet this. It's a cost for a droplet to send a card to the graveyard, and you can't send card to the graveyard. So you do have to summon your card early as soon as possible. Otherwise, what? Are they going to droplet early? Then you just wait for it to resolve, then summon afterward. Let's see. Pada E, come to me. Chain summon the Dark Law. Now, the problem is, by activating mass change on the opponent's turn, or even on your own turn, it's going to trigger some cards here. Now, there's a ruling where you can't trigger more than one monster within the same chain that has the effect to summon from the hand. So you will choose between the Crusea, the Monster Negate, or spin 2 cards in the field back in the deck. And on the resolution of adding 2 cards, we get to randomly banish a card from the hand. Add 2, trigger the Dark Law, as we're also going to trigger the Phonix. We have Furnace also triggering to special summon itself onto the field. Phonix could simply go to battle with the Dark Law to just wipe it out. Now, our own Droplet is activatable. Only yours cannot be activated. All these cards are getting banished. We're activating Favorite Contact. What are we summoning? Masked Hero, Omni Negate. We're gonna have a negate with the contrast hero of any card in the field. All cards are banished, and the Droplet to further negate. Quite solid, I think so. Here's a problem though. Contrast negates cards, not effects. What that means is if there isn't a card on the field to negate, we ain't negating a Sheena, bouncing our whole field back. Uh-oh. We can't Droplet it, we can't contrast it. Phonix is triggering to spin 2 cards on the field back. Negate, down to 1500 mate. By using Droplet, it triggers the other cards. Oh my Jesus, I negate you and now I get to summon you. Uh-oh, there it is. Vortex is now here. Let's not link, we're seizing into the Phantom Fortress big enough to swing over the Dark Law. Be gone. Main phase 2, we now could banish the contrast hero or at least force him to negate. And this is where heroes are left with nothing. Didn't even need to Sheena. I was thinking Sheena was the play. Wipe the field. Ain't no way. Got him. And we get to trigger Crusea. we triggered it all. Trigger Phonix, trigger Vortex, trigger Crusea, wipe the fields with the Zeus. Damn. Big problem. Now, Miracle Fusion has a cool play, right? We can hopefully summon the elemental hero Thunder Giant, which will on-summon wipe away the whole field. The problem is it's 2 elemental heroes with different attributes. Do we have 2 elemental heroes? Elemental hero Stratos and no other elemental hero. So how, oh, wait, this is an elemental hero. Always treated as an elemental hero. So we can in fact try to wipe away the field. But the Bamboozling Shadow can negate, and so can the Mandate. We're gonna be MST poppin', so we could trigger our cards on the graveyard. Now, remember when I said the effect to summon from the hand can only be, one of them can be in the same chain? Not from the grave. The grave can chain link to infinity, summon as much as you want from the grave. Just from the hand, it's only one of them in the same chain. Reborn, Monster Negate, spin cards back. Doom Eagle already returned a card back. We're gonna MST negate. We're going to be able to Sheena, bounce back the fields. Well, we're not going to even be able to summon. No! Mandate, negate. Just like that, mate. And if you didn't know that, the mandate can be face down. Change to the MST to still negate a card. It doesn't have to be face up early. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Before any of you go, oh, heroes, he got max seed, okay? He got max seed. He would have had a much better turn one board. He still had a pretty good turn one board, but the max seed ruined the duel, I'd say, right? Freaking max seed. Special summon Red Layer. Red Layer won the last tournament in Vanquish Canine, if I remember correctly, right? Monster negate, banish, negate a monster in the hand or the grave. We have the, we're going to be able to yoink a card, maybe draw into a hand trap. Not going to count that as a disruption. We could also add back no fire in grave. What the heck? Here, Reese, come to me. Makupsi, limited to one of the best normal summons in the game. Ripper, negate the Marshmallow, which cannot negate Cupsy. Cupsy doesn't activate in the hand. And now what? We're gonna Mimigold Maker. With the Maker, reveal two, randomly summon one of them onto the opposing side of the field, grabbing the Archfiend. This is it. Is it not? The Mimigold Dragon, when flipped face up, destroys all face-up monsters you control. Wipe the whole field, and the Archfiend flips it face up. So we have a nuclear launch ready to be flipped face up. Can the Umbral Horror negate your own card? I don't know. Let's read it. When a monster effect on the opponent's field only, so we would have to try to negate them from flipping up the Mimigold Dragon from wiping away our field. That's the goal. If he finds another way to flip us, then we are in big trouble. I am not familiar with this card. Wait, someone used this against me even yesterday. They gave me a Kaiju, then they activated this, and I was trying to read this. I'm like, oh, what? I had a Little Knight also, so I was like, do I just Little Knight banish my card? And then I was like, hold up, I should not do that. Because this crazy card, target a monster your opponent controls that is a face up or face down monster. And then, if that monster is no longer on the field, that would be because you chained Little Knight, or it's a monster you own because you gave them the monster, you Kaiju'd or you Mimigold it, you get to reveal it if it's face down, and then you inflict 200 to your opponent, who cares? But you then non-target take control of all monsters your opponent controls except that monster. Yoink the entire field. Can we even stop this? Little Knight's gonna chain banish his own monster. We're taking the Rock and the Ripper. Whoop. Just reduce the card you give them, I guess. It actually resolved. Come to me, Ripper and Rock, getting rid of the Umbral Horror and Little Knight. What a great play. Slayton, when did you start using that? What the heck? Flip up the Mimigold Dragon, wipe away the remaining cards, even though we took control of their entire field except the Mimigold Dragon. This is nuts. Add two. Do we just win this turn or what? Slayton, that was, I love it so much. We're gonna have the Phantasmate triggered a special summon though. Draw two, return a card back. What can we draw into? I guess Azuna would really be upsetting. That would not be cool. Phantasmate. Now we're just going to draw one because he got rid of the link. All right. No, draw two. And Bob boosts up that field. 12,000 damage with the Stolen Ripper. Is this a temporary? Do we have the Ripper forever? Let me read this. Take control forever, ever. Forever, it's yours. Wow. Permanent full field control steal. Nuts. Is that an ultra rare? There's no way you have to UR craft this to try it out and have fun with, right? Where was it on the duel log? I just had it. It's just a rare. Oh my Jesus. Let's go. Jokel reveal the Lupus. We, you know, same thing as the previous duel here. I guess I swapped up the players here. We are going second. We have Bot Herder. We are ready. Can we do it? Give them a body, then Bot Herder, and then we win, right? Easy peasy. Mimigold Maker. Here's the problem. If I know you play Bot Herder, I just get rid of the monster before you activate it, right? See, this is not so good in a best of 3. Best of 1, you'll hit him every single time. He's gonna counter it right away or what? No, he's not. Really? Back-to-back Bot Herder? What the heck? Little Knight's gonna chain banish the Ripper. Rock of the Vanquisher's adding. How about we just destroy all our monsters instead of giving him anything? But then we're destroying our Little Knight and Ripper before banishing it? What? You get nothing besides my Borger. Wipe away the field, steal the Borger. Mimigold Dragon grabbing the Mimigold. Are there any turn 2 players in the chat here? This is your card. Bot Herder is the freaking way. This is the play. I cannot believe it. Ozuna dump from the deck. We already have Lupus Engrave. Lupus Reborn. Lupus activate to rank 5 Xyz. Jax on summon to get poppin'. And as I said earlier, it's a permanent control take. The Linkreebo's trying to bridge its way into a yummy play. Force release with the Jax. Werewolf non-target pop. Kraken has a really good response to losing his whole field. What the heck? It's crazy. Call to the Grave, fingering the Holly Sue, attempting our summon from the hand by revealing the Caesar. Negate. So I guess, right, why didn't he finger Lupus? I mean, he was afraid of the Holly Sue, I guess? Yeah, I don't know. Should we have fingered Lupus instead? What do y'all think? Quite the interesting decision. Fingering Holly Sue's better. I can potentially agree with that, sure. Mimigol room, special summon a Mimigol onto the field, but Ash is going to negate mate. Could also change a face-up monster to the field to face-down defense on top of being able to summon from the deck. We do have Dimensional Barrier, which will affect everything from the extra deck except Link monsters. Declaring Xyz, who cares, right? That's not going to be too big of a deal. We now have the Caesar, but the non-target pop a card in the field does. We're going to have to flip up the barrier before it gets wiped out. Chain it, declare it, Xyz. Now, Werewolf will chain banish from the field and grave, right? 1 card from the field and graveyard be gone. The Borger, which was stolen, will now get popped by the Caesar. Lethal damage. Just like that. Damn. Winning after a resolved Bot Herder attempting to steal the whole field. Nuts. On top of the Dimensional Barrier, we could flip 2 cards face down. We could pop a monster on the field. We're probably not gonna... We do play the other field spell, I remember, I think. We could pop another card in the field. So that's 4 disruptions right there. Then we have the Mimigol room, summon a Mimigol, then flip a monster in the field face down. So about 5 disruptions. Case for Canine, Snatchy, Chain Synchro, Holly Sue, Reveal. We only have Double Earth until the resolution of the Canine to give us a Dark. Dark and Earth means take control. There you go. Holly Sue is ready to get yoinking. And we're gonna yoink right away. It's a non-target yoink. So we're gonna chain to getting yoinked to Reborn from the graveyard. And special summon up to 2 yummies. Is he gonna just steal the Snatchy? or Cookie, then pop the Snatchy. You would get the effect of the Cookie. So maybe we should have done that. If this card is summoned, let's read this. If this card was summoned by the effect of a Synchro, you could destroy the monster on the special summon. Kraken would get the effect of Cookie to target Snatchy to pop it. It's the lowest attack. Okay, Rick, thank you. I'm trying to do a TCG cheat. I'm still trying to give you the ruling that if we were to take control of the Cookie, if we did have a choice, but we don't have a choice, because there are obviously different attacks here, right? 1,600. Cookie get poppin', take out the Holly Sue. Joke will reveal the Azuna, come forth and summon. We still have Dimensional Barrier to prevent the summon of Ripper. But the question is, do we allow them to summon Ripper, then flip up Barrier so that the Ripper will be negated? Special summon, Mimigold Dragon, flip down the Jokel. Mimigold Dragon searching for a follow-up play with Mimigold Maker. Tribute summon. We're preventing the Xyz. We are not waiting for the Xyz to happen. Little Knight. Little Knight, banishing away the minion field spell, which the Marshmallow will be able to recycle back only if reborn back through Synchro. Yes, if summoned through the effect of a Synchro, you could place the Yummy field spell from your banishment. Mimigol Make or break, randomly giving them the dragon, which will then wipe away all opposing cards here. So we're in this scenario where we need Azuna to be comboed up with Lupus. And if the Azuna gets wiped out by the Archfiend flipping up the dragon, then we lose out on our Lupus play. This was a huge 50-50. We won the coin flip. We wanted them to get the Mimigold Dragon, and it looks like Kraken has given up. Didn't even chain Little Knight. Oh my Jesus. Bending the knee to Mimigol. Wow. Well done, Slayton. Special Cupsy, grab Surprise, special the Mimigol Fairy. Cupsy, Yummy Way, grab the Cookie. We have our Field Spell Banish, which unless the opponent activates a card, we're not gonna be able to chain to Reborn the Marshmallow. We're gonna Lollipo, return the Lupus back in the deck. Kraken is toggled off. Yep, toggled off. He's walked away. He's gonna allow Slayin to make his full play. He's not surrendering early. That's fine. Not that he should. You could say this is the more honorable thing to do, right? Let your opponent finish. Let them have their moment, especially when they're on Mimigol. Sprite Elf. I don't think Slayin can put up lethal damage, but we're gonna have enough disruption where Kraken's next turn's gonna be doing nothing anyway. Yeah, too tiny. And this was the way to beat Yummy. Back in the day in TCG, they didn't get Marshmallow on release. And Marshmallow was the only way to recycle back the field spell. You would make a Little Knight, banish the minion, and then you could set something like an Ash Blossom and they have no way to get over it. Call by the Grave Finger, the Herald of Arclight trying to negate the case for Canine. Chain, Cupsy, Reborn back. Cupsy randomly draw a card. Snatch, you'll be able to Synchro to flip cards face down. We have Lantern to Reborn, our Canine from Engrave. Cupsy and Snatchy, we're going to be playing the other Yummy field spell, which will pop a card on the field on Synchro Summon. So we got a flip, we have a Cookie Pop, and then we have a pop. So we have triple disruption, plus we're going to return 2 cards back to the hand. Quadra disruption. So this will activate by the time he's got 2 bodies in the field, flip them down. Dump a Lupus from the deck. And we have Mimigold Maker triggering to flip up the Archfiend. Now, Archfiend is going to make it so Kraken has to discard a card with no card in hand, but the opponent also draws a card. Let's get drawing. Maybe drawing another hand trap. Dump Lupus, Archfiend, which also forcing a mandatory activation from the opponent allows us to play Thrust. Also combos up with the Yummy Synchros because you made them activate a card. We could chain to their card. Lollipo is now getting the Lupus out of here. Now, if we activate a card in the hand or grave, Lupus could just chain summon in response to Lollipo trying to get rid of it. And it wasn't even the opponent turning on the Marshmallow replacing the minion. It was forcing the Mimigal Archfiend to activate to then you trigger the synchro, not trigger, but chain to the effect, and then reborn the Marshmallow to then trigger to play back the field spell to boost up the field. And just like that, 2-1 victory. We had Bot Herder for game 1 and 2 with the victory for game 3. Very well done. Masquerade, send the Silver Hound. For this duel, we were good enough to just stop the Liger from being summoned altogether. Corellia in the draw phase. That's not going to stop me from summoning a Liger. We're going to go all the way. Double Liger under Droll plus Masquerena and a Silver Hound spell and trap card negate. That is insane. Oh my Jesus. Let's go. Corellia right away. Ain't no way. What? Demi, are you good? Are we gonna be able to Azuna Lupus to counter a Liger play or what? Fractal dumping itself to get the Silver Hound. Silver Hound activate to not only turn on the Azuna, but summon a chick from the deck. Now we got Holly Sue to wipe away the chick before it activates. You cannot dump from the deck or extra deck if I summon a Raisin in the same column. But we're taking control instead. I don't want to wipe you out, then you reborn. No, let's just take control of it. And now you got to get another one. Martin, search for with the Tenki. Gold Leo, grab the Wolf, then discard the Martin. Martin, search in our deck. That search is going to be what? As the Gold Leo also adds back the Martin. Come to me. And with that play, we have a Lunalight Fusion instead of the Masquerade. Azuna dump Lupus as we're now going to be ready with the rank 5 Xyz Way. Are we ready to get sucking? Palmerize it up. The problem is we don't want to summon from the extra deck unless we really have to, because the Lunalight Fusion is going to benefit from there being an extra deck monster on the fields. We get to use from the deck or extra deck if they control a monster on the field from the extra deck. And now they got the Ripper, and now we can Lunalight Fuse. Using from the extra deck to go, we cheated out a Liger Dancer because you have a Ripper. That enabled this, and this was public knowledge. Wipe the field. There you go. Kaleido trigger, add back the Polymerization. I mean, what are we really going to do anyway? I feel like, I don't know. I think the duel is pretty much decided early on. We didn't want to commit to the Corellia, and after that, what else was there to do? We lose to a single Liger. I don't think we have any good out to just one copy being on the field. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16. We'll now be advancing to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list on the very next video, where we're going to start this off with Heroes. 60 card Heroes in the top 8. I'll see you there. Let's go.